they've been moved. These guys are a nocturnal species. They're kind of like season, so pretty much any day now. In a week now from glass. Often found around creeks, in streams, anywhere where there's water, because they love to feed on frogs. And they're
Subscribe to us.
There you go.
Goodbye, fella.
Look, it's actually kind of big. Look. Yeah, here's the release video of the yellow belly. So this beautiful lizard here is the pink-tongued skink. I believe they're Cyclodomorphus gerardi, although I think the Cyclodomorphus, they've actually been put in another genus, which I can't remember. But these guys used to be in the she-oak skink family, and the second largest member of that family. Yeah, they've been moved. But these guys are a nocturnal species. They're kind of like a blue-tongued lizard, except it won't open its mouth now. They're pretty chilled out, but they've actually got a pink tongue.
And they're also arboreal instead of normal blue tongue skink.
Yeah, they're semi-arboreal, so we saw it down crossing the road. Might have been basking on the road near the rocks, but they often climb trees, and they've got this long and prehensile tail. It'll help them climb trees. They're very good climbers.
Keeps a balance.
Yeah, very good balance. They're not as big as blue tongues, but probably a young female, you reckon?
Yeah, I reckon this one's about, what, 3 years of age at least?
Something like that, yeah.
Nearly full grown.
Yeah.
Just a bit more to go.
Get a little bit bigger and a little bit fatter, bit of a bigger head. They're a very slender species to help them climb in the trees. They're very light in the vines. These guys are a nocturnal species, and up here in the Blue Mountains, they're actually not common at all.
Very rare.
They're they range up on the east coast from Queensland up to south of Sydney, but that sounds kind of big.
What is that?
But they're kind of rare. Down here in the southern parts of their range around the Blue Mountains, they're actually pretty rare. They're mainly seen up in Queensland and northern New South Wales, but even there, they're still pretty rare. There's actually a patternless form of these guys, which is like a beautiful, kind of like the colour on a head, goes all the way like an olive-coloured skink.
Oh, it's just a big insect.
But yeah, these guys are actually a threatened species, unfortunately, due to habitat destruction, low breeding rate, and poachers. Yeah, a lot of people will take these guys and sell them on the pet trade because they're such a beautiful animal in high demand.
Yeah, rare too.
They're an absolutely gorgeous species, so they'll feed on insects, small mammals maybe, like little baby mice, but mostly insects, spiders,
plant matter,
snails, and a bit of plant matter.
Sometimes flowers if they find them.
Yeah, so they're omnivorous. But that's a gorgeous animal right there, so Luke, do you want to release it? Daniel, we're going to release it! Let's wait for Daniel.
And surprisingly, there's no ticks on it.
Yeah, she's actually completely tick-free. You can see if I put her on, they're a little faster than a blue tongue. So we'll just wait for Daniel to film and then we'll release her on the side of the road.
Luke, you can do the honours?
I'll have the honours.
Go, Luke.
There you go, sweetie.
Make sure we can go back onto the road.
No. Quick, off you go.
There you go.
Out of the girl.
There you go. One of the rarest skinks, they're probably about the second rarest skink in the Blue Mountains. The other one is the Blue Mountains water skink, but there's one of the best things we can find out here. So that's great. Back of the she-oak skink, a mainland she-oak skink. Now this one is extremely large. They really don't get larger than this. In fact, I didn't know they got this big, and it's very fat. So I'd say it's a gravid female about to lay eggs or give birth, I should say. And this is usually the baby season, so pretty much any day now, any week now, she'll be giving birth. And these guys are sometimes semi-arboreal, usually found on the ground in a lot of dense bushes. They're often mistaken for brown snakes because you just see the tail, but they'll just sit in the bushes. They'll come out at night and in the afternoon, so early mornings and the afternoons, in the afternoon sun, not in the middle of the day, they'll come out. They mainly eat insects, but occasionally will eat a little bit of plant matter. A bit closely related to the blue tongues. In fact, they call them a slender blue tongue. These guys are distributed from the east coast, from south of Sydney up into Queensland. They're pretty good find. They're not that common, but yeah, they're a nice skink. So we'll take some photos and then we'll also.
Yep, eat.
This juvenile, just over juvenile Highlands Copperhead. Oh, and a grasshopper.
Is he running?
Yep.
Okay, put him in go. There we go. Oh, he's still on.
There we go. That's actually not too bad. But, so this guy here, hold him, camera with me. This guy here is a Highlands Copperhead. He's actually not too bad. This is a Highlands Copperhead, Australaps Ramsey.
He's looking at you.
Yeah. So these guys are usually a pretty placid species of snake, but of course if you touch them they will get grumpy, although if you see them in the wild and you don't try to pick them up, they will always flee. They're not like a brown snake that'll ever stand up. They'll always either sit still and try to camouflage if they think they can, or they'll flee and they'll go under a rock or into some long grass. Often found around creeks, in streams, anywhere where there's water, because they love to feed on frogs. One of their favourite foods is frogs. They will also eat small lizards. Sometimes other snakes. They can be cannibalistic, and sometimes maybe small mammals and that. Similar in habit sort of to a red belly. They are a diurnal species, but this guy was found at night because we flipped him under a rock. So at night they'll hide under rocks, or if they're larger than this, down burrows or under really big rocks. But Lachlan saw a really good rock and suggested to flip it, so me and Daniel, we flipped the rock and found this guy, and we've been looking for probably over an hour now and only found a skink. So
Pretty good skink though.
yeah, good skinks, but not snakes. But yeah, we finally found one. These guys, they're found in the uplands and the highlands of New South Wales and Victoria. They're the 10th most venomous snake in the world. Around that, 10th, 9th. It keeps changing.
Yeah, 10th.
Yeah, about 10th. And they've got very nice feeling scales.
7th dangerous in Australia.
Yeah. They're that was a bit close. These guys, yeah, they're diurnal. They're a water-loving species, so they usually are found near a water source. There's a creek just down there. But they're a very nice snake. They'll get to about 4 foot long, 4 or 5 foot, maybe 6 if you're really lucky.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think I found 4 foot.
Yeah, 4 foot, so they'll get about 5. But venom isn't nice. You don't want to be bitten by one of these guys. It's it will kill you if you don't get medical treatment, unless it's a dry bite. It will kill the person. But they're usually a pretty placid species of snake. Even when handled, you can see he's not like a brown coming up at me or anything. But everyone's just going to have a hold now, and we'll take some photos, and then we'll let him go. Okay.
Ready? Goodbye, my love. Just make sure in the crack. Yep.
Do it in
Highlands Copperhead.
Cooper, yeah, that's a great name. We're naming after you, Cooper Reptiles. Subscribe to us. There you go. Goodbye.
It's actually kind of big. Thanks for watching, ladies and gentlemen.
There we go.
Hope you enjoy this video.
Oh, look out! Look who's coming. Everyone here.
Watch out, Lucas coming.
Get the light over here.
It was fun making this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the video.
Yeah, we went down there. Okay,
That's where they get their name from, the yellow belly right there.
Yep.
Let's grab it too.
Yeah, this is a gravid female of a yellow-bellied water skink. These guys are found throughout the Blue Mountains and Southern Highlands, around water and streams, southern parts of New South Wales and Queensland and Victoria. So they'll inhabit, being called a water skink, they inhabit watery areas, streams and swamps and that. They're diurnal, so by night they'll hide under rocks like this one. They're not endangered like a Blue Mountains water skink, but they're certainly not common like an eastern, but very nice species. They don't go quite the size of an eastern. This is a gravid female, but they do get bigger. It's not quite full length, but she's very fat, so you can tell she's gravid. You can kind of feel that. These guys are insectivores, so they'll just eat little bits of insects and that. Occasionally, maybe munch on a bit of fruit. Yeah. Water skink. Very good release video of the yellow-bellied water skink. Yeah. Why is water skink under this rock?